So continuing my series of looking at Starfield mods, we have 5 more mods to look at, including probably the most exciting mod released for Starfield yet. So starting off on a high note, we have that mod that I think is the most exciting Starfield mod yet, and this is called Galactic Civil War Conversion. Now all this mod currently does is replaces the models of the UC police armor with Stormtrooper armor from Star Wars. So this will cause any United Colony police officers that are using this specific set of armor and clothing to now appear in Stormtrooper armor, and you can also obtain all these different pieces to get the full Stormtrooper armor as well. And besides this mod just being incredibly exciting because it's Star Wars, this also seems to be one of, if not the first mods that fully replaces items in the game to something completely custom, because this actually changes the UC police uniforms into the Stormtrooper armor. So it's something you can get, it's something they're wearing, and it's something completely custom, completely overhauled. And even though this mod right now only changes one set of armor, it's going to do a lot more in the future. And the mod maker mentions that they have a lot more planned for the future, and as this is called Galactic Civil War Conversion, I would probably expect that they're probably going to make something else, such as the Freestar Collective, into the opposing side, maybe into the Rebels or something like that. And this armor set looks really good in Starfield, and it fits in with the game perfectly. So I fully expect when this mod maker either completes the mod or gets a lot more into it, or has the tools that allows them to fully realize this mod, that this is going to be one of those mods in the future that's downloaded by everybody and is just an incredibly cool mod to go and basically play Star Wars in Starfield. And next up, we have the craftable ammo and utilities mod. And what this does is just adds in the ability to craft a ton of different ammo types and some other items to your different workbenches. And this is something I was actually surprised we don't see in Starfield, but even if you go back to something like Fallout 4 or Fallout 76, you're able to craft ammo in both of those games. And with Starfield having so many different side systems that require tons of resources and a bunch of ways to generate more resources, you would think this would be part of the game. And currently this mod is allowing you to craft digipicks, a ton of the game's different ammos, and frag grenades and frag mines at the industrial workbench, and then you're also able to craft med packs at the pharmaceutical lab. Now all of these are still going to be taking in-game resources, and there's currently not any custom resources being added in yet. The mod maker does say that when they figure out how to add completely new items and ways to obtain them, that they will be adding in things like gunpowder that you would craft, say, ballistic ammo with, but as of right now you craft all these items with current in-game resources, so ballistic ammo will use lead and copper to craft them. And even though this mod is basically adding something new into the game, I almost consider this a quality of life mod, because this just allows you to actually use all these different resources that make sense in crafting to be able to craft these different items and ammo. And next up, we have high-res NPCs for Sarah Morgan. And I know this is a mod for just one singular companion, but I also wanted to mention that there are a bunch of other mods on Nexus Mods that either do a very similar thing to just all NPCs in the game. For instance, the mod maker of this mod also has high-res hair and beards and high-res eyes and eyebrows. And then from a bunch of other mod makers, there are also high-res NPC updates for a lot of the other companions. And even though these are just for singular characters, if those are what you're downloading, this can also have a pretty big impact on basically any quest in the game, because even if you're not doing the really long quests that are specifically focused around these companions, your companions still interject and play parts in most other quest lines or storylines you're taking part in. So if you're taking part in, say, one of the main faction quests, your NPC will have dialogue options, they'll interject in situations, and you'll even have dialogue options that let them speak for you in certain situations. So having a high-res version of just the NPC you're using could be overall a pretty small update to add into your game. Won't really affect your performance that much because it's only one character, but since you're talking to them so much in conversations and in stories, it could still have a pretty big impact in your overall gameplay. And I'm somebody that's also just a sucker for high-res model mods and graphical update mods that just make the game look much better overall. And next up, we have the customizable HUD mod. And this mod is actually adding a lot of features from a bunch of other mods and just putting it all in one mod. Because I was actually going to go over some other mods that had different pieces of this mod, but once I found this, there's no other reason. This one actually adds a bunch of them to this singular mod. And this mod basically just allows you to customize your HUD in any way you want. You're able to change the colors, hide different scanner elements, adds a carry weight readout to the scanner UI, and even allows you to change or add different colors for custom threshold for, say, health or O2. So if you want to add like one section of health is one color, another section is another, stuff like that. And that's not everything that's in the mod. That's just a small explanation of some of the things you'll see with this mod. There are a ton of other options detailed in the description of the mod, and there are a ton of additional features being added into this mod. There's actually a massive to-do list under the description as well that talks about what's going to be added to this mod in the future. So this is definitely going to be one of those mods that you definitely want to be downloading if you want to change basically anything about the HUD in the game. And next up, we have a mod to fix probably one of the biggest annoyances I've had in Starfield, and this is hold to equip extended. Now basically what this mod does is just allows you to hold E to equip or use specific items. And this is specifically adding this feature to, say, food or ingredients to consume it. And then this also allows you to read books without picking them up. And the main thing that this mod is doing to fix one of my biggest annoyances with Starfield is allowing you to consume food or aid items without having to pick them up and then go in your inventory and use them. Because trying to go through all of the different aid items in this game in this massive list to try to find all the different things you want to consume, especially with a bunch of the food in the game not really healing you a ton, has been one of the biggest annoyances within Starfield. There's so many times where I have just a small amount of health left and I see a bunch of food items on the ground where if there was the option, I could just hold to consume them and get that little bit of health back. Or if I need a bunch of health and I'm in, say, one of the cafeterias in the game, I could just go around consuming all these different aid and food items without going in my inventory. And that's what this mod does. This mod would actually have saved me so much time when I first started playing Starfield. Like the first couple days or first week, I legitimately would have saved so much time doing this. This has been such a big annoyance for me that I basically stopped caring about any food or healing items that aren't some of the biggest buff items, or say the med packs, or what are basically the stim items of Starfield. I basically just sold off all the food and I just buy all the med packs or those similar items and only use those, and I don't care anything about the food. But with this, I can actually look around for all the different food with the different buffs and just consume them instead of picking them up right off the bat. This is actually such a simple mod, but it adds so much value to the game. Now, just a small disclaimer, one thing I was noticing in a bunch of the posts under this mod is a lot of people weren't able to get this mod to work correctly. And it seems like if you've also downloaded the responsive grabbing mod, which will allow you to much more easily grab and drag around items in real time, it seems like if you have certain settings with that mod, this mod won't work or interferes with how this mod works because you're holding the normal pickup button to just use the item instead of picking it up and putting it into your inventory. So there may be some conflicts using both of those mods. So I'll definitely look in the posts of this mod if you have that issue. But that's all the 5 mods I wanted to go over for this video. 5 incredibly useful mods. Like I mentioned, some of these are very useful personally for me. And I think the highlight is still the Star Wars mod. Even though it's really simple right now, it just remodels that one set of armor. I think this is a mod to keep your eye on because I think this mod is going to have some incredibly cool content later down the road. But that's all I want to go over. So thanks for watching.